I do appreciate, like, if they're gonna do something, if they're gonna honor him, to like, they're doing slam poetry and songs and stuff, and so like if they have some creative outlets that they want to do, that's all well and good, but don't force us and don't force the mainstream media to have to pretend that this pantomime is anything other than celebrating the death of celebrating the life of someone who really the country shouldn't idolize, and we shouldn't pretend as though this person is some heroic figure on the level of Martin Luther King.
How did you all feel about the congressional votes about it, like the House resolution, the Senate resolution? How did you all feel about that?
Why did Democrats vote for it?
In the politics?
Well, why did only 30 Democrats vote against one of these resolutions of like making a Charlie Kirk remembrance day?
I think it was like 50,
58, whatever. 40 something like voted, or 30 something voted like or stayed present or something like that.
I kind of get it insofar as like they don't want the heat of like, look at, they all hated Charlie Kirk, and it's like, whatever, this is meaningless both ways, and you're not going to get us in some gotcha like, we hate Charlie Kirk, we voted no on honoring a dead guy, because they're just going to use that against them. That's pretty much the only reason I can think they did that. But I don't know, that's the best
in my opinion, they still haven't gotten the message, they still haven't gotten the memo, and they're not really up for the fight right now. Many of them are. I think there are a lot of good examples of that, but some of these people, the fact that it's the same kind of rationale about why they voted for the Lake and Riley Act. It's because they didn't want to get stung with this kind of opprobrium or something. But just vote your conscience. We don't need a Charlie Kirk Remembrance Day. I wouldn't even support flying the flags at half-mast.
Hutch, what do you think?
Well, Charles, who are you asking?
Both of you. You were both
Charles.
very quiet.
Charles Schumer is about to win you back over with the government shutdown. We are full steam ahead, Pisco. You're about to become a Chuck Schumer stan after this. Watch.
I have to go all the way back to the beginning. I have 6 bars to kill for the timekeeper? Okay, I gotta go farm, okay?
The people are
IRI, did you see what he said, though? When they asked what happens if Republicans, like, don't go along with it? Like, what happens if they don't negotiate it? They asked if he's still going to vote against it, and he just wouldn't answer the question. That's kind of making me nervous.
Well, he's keeping his cards close to the vest, man. You can't give away the strategy, but there's no time unless the Senate approves the House version, because the House is out. Congress is out
in May. So this, like, he was giving the strategy away in May, right? Like, unless he's got like a different little negotiating thing that he's going to try now, don't you think it's like, what's he really got like up his sleeve?
Well, they're going for it because they'd have to pass the House version because the Congress is out this week and then they don't come back till Wednesday, which is already October 1st. So I don't think the Dems are backing down this time, and they're demanding the ACA subsidies be renewed. So we're going to see what happens here, but I think they're full steam ahead.
I don't trust them on TV, IRI. I don't trust them on TV.
I mean, I just wanted to say, Pisco, sometimes there's more moderate Democrats serving in more moderate districts, and they have a different constituency. Constituency. It shouldn't bother you. I'm just saying, we've had this conversation so many times. You just want everybody to vote the same. And
no, I want them to vote against. So yes, I want them in the context of any kind of like, in terms of policy, great. You know, if there's some fucking policy stuff, if there's some kind of virtue signal that isn't related to authoritarian government, but this is directly related to authoritarian government and the government's efforts to clamp down on free speech. And so, yeah, that's a bare minimum that I want for my Democratic Congress people.
What does that have to do with the Charlie Kirk resolution, though?
Because they're using the Charlie Kirk resolution as part of their cry to clamp down on free speech, and that is related. And so I think it's incumbent on all Democratic members to call that out and to not vote for things that are part of a signal that's part of an all of government effort to clamp down on free speech. That is a line for me. Yeah, I understand. I
just don't think it matters. Like, this is such a symbolic nothing vote.
They were going to pass it anyway.
This things matter, but this vote just did not matter. It's a purely symbolic vote. And if somebody felt pressure from their own constituents if they felt like this would be a liability, then it doesn't matter. Who cares?
The vote itself isn't what matters in the sense that this is going to pass anyway. Who cares? It's indicative of weakness. It's indicative of weakness. And all these members, yes, it is. Yes, it is. And all of these members,
every representative is accountable to their own constituents, bro.
So
not every constituency is the same.
Your explanation doesn't resolve how many members voted in favor, right? Your explanation, there's some moderate members, dude. Come on, they gotta vote. That doesn't explain over 100 plus members. They're not all in fucking swing districts. They're not all moderates. So your explanation doesn't.
They don't want to deal with the hassle of Republicans accusing them of not doing it. No, sometimes things make you politically vulnerable, and for some people, they have a lot more insulation from that kind of danger. If you're in like a D+4.
Why can't you? Okay, listen. Why can't you just like not appeal to lefties and not appeal to moderates? Like, why can't you just do both? Just do both. It's not hard. It's not hard. Okay. Don't appeal to the Hassan types and don't appeal to the fucking Tally types. Okay. It's really as simple as that, right? Like, Jesus. I don't know. Fuck. Yeah. I don't know.
40 district or something like that, you don't really need to worry about stuff like that. But if you're in a close district, who
but
cares?
did Bernie Sanders vote yes? I mean, he's pretty solidly in the blue, right? I think it's not just about the swing thing, Hutch, but I disagree with you, Peace Guy. I do think I understand why you're saying it's weak, but it's just, hey, I don't want this heat. There's so many more things we're about to fight on, like the shutdown bill, which, by the way, I think we should play
just
the
vote
game.
present. Vote. Why are you voting in favor? If that's the thing, just
I'll tell you. Okay, like I don't care what they're talking about. They seem to be talking about some bill or legislation that is like surrounding Charlie Kirk or whatever the fuck. Like it's named Charlie Kirk. I don't know what it is. But the point is this. Okay, so there's a double standards poisoning, lead poisoning. Okay, double standards lead poisoning going on right now in the United States, right? I don't want to live in a world where even if we win elections, the double standards poisoning is still not fixed, because that's going to lead to more deaths. That's going to lead to more violence. That's going to lead to more just horrible shit, right? I don't want to live in a world where that is the standard. I don't want to live in a world where we don't care about the double standards. So I want to be able to start the curing process now, not later, now, by also doing crazy unhinged shit that Republicans would do, right? By doing that, what you're doing is that you are essentially beginning to rebalance the double standards that is going on, okay? Because pointing out the hypocrisy does not work from what was going on like this entire time. Because Democrats have been pointing out the hypocrisy this entire time. They have. If you're wondering, they aren't. They have. Every single panel, every single like fucking news bulletin or whatever the fuck, they have said, yeah, what if Joe Biden did this? What if this did this? What if that did this? Well, I mean, like, I just don't really see it working. I don't know. Yeah. Food. I agree, but you kind of sound like train wrecks. Thanks, you ruined my day now.
vote present. I mean,
I'm curious. I'm curious for IRI's take on this, because I was trying to come up with examples. Have Democrats ever done like this sort of shit to Republicans, like just make them eat unpopular symbolic votes?
Yeah, both parties do
Let's do the Charlie Kirk Memorial Shutdown Bill. If you're against it, you hate Charlie Kirk. Okay?
Yeah, like right, like
well,
the equivalent of if you read this, your gay bill or something like that. You know what I mean? Like just right? No, like is there anything?
But that's because we're built different, Josiah. Like Democrats at our core want to solve problems and get things done, so they'll always look for some bipartisan way to bring people together.
Bro, dude, the most unhinged thing that Democrats can do, and by the way, I fully support this, okay? You should propose a bill called the Bulgy Wolgy OO bill, okay? Do it now. It is the only fucking way. Fuck! But like, it is the only way, okay? You need to do the Bulgy Wolgy, the OO Bulgy Wolgy bill, okay? It is the only way we can, is the only way to fix this country, okay? I want the Bulgy Wolgy bill now, okay? I want it now, not later, now.
Together, because that's the job by definition.
Oh,
I understand it doesn't meet the moment right now. I understand that. I understand the frustration. But ultimately, that's the job. I know we have...
Just, by the way, if you're thinking, like, that kind of shit is immature or whatever, bro, dude, there's someone named Big Balls working in Elon Musk's fucking Doge department that he named Doge because it was funny, who is like slashing people's employment. Yeah, don't talk to me about embarrassing names or like embarrassing actions or whatever the fuck. Sometimes it is good to be cool and epic and people will like it, right? Like, yeah, fuck me, dude. Yeah, anyway. And also fuck the moderates, all right? Like, they have no problem when the fucking government of, like, when the fucking Doge department was named Doge, right? They had no issue when, like, some dude was named Big Balls slashing funds, right? They have no issue with, like, Elon Musk's, Elon Musk making a fucking, like, diamond hand all the fucking time and yelling like a fucking autistic kid with, like, runaway Asperger's, fucking high on Tylenol his entire life. I don't fucking know. Like, yeah, then why should I care about any kind of autistic, stupid, retarded, epic bullshit that, like, the Democrats do? Like, why the fuck are you trying to act like it's a civil world? Like, what the fuck? It's a clown world. So why the fuck? Listen. If you act like a normal person in a circus, you are the real clown, okay? If you try to act like a normal person in a circus, you are the real clown, okay? It is a clown circus, it's a clown world, but you're not the one playing the clown. So you look stupid as fuck, okay? Anyway, Didn't he get fired? Did he? Okay, then he deserves it. But like, I'm just telling you, the modders had no problem with that. Like, they didn't have any problem with that stupid fucking shit. Like, what the fuck? Okay, sorry.
To get through this step first before we get to that. So I just think it's still built within the Democrats.
Okay, I'm calm. I'm a very calm person, okay?
Yeah, that's what I was trying to figure out, though. If there was ever a time, because I couldn't think of one, where, like, the shoe was on the other foot, and, okay, counterfactual. Like, obviously, I know that there was a bipartisan resolution about Melissa Hortman. My gut feeling is if that resolution was a bit more robust, like the language used in the Charlie Kirk one, we're talking about not just like we're honoring her life, but it was like whereas Charlie Kirk was like a champion of free speech, whereas he had the fattest cock. Like, it was just going into vivid detail. If there was something like that about Melissa Hortman, whereas Melissa Hortman was morally superior to every Republican who's ever or a national Melissa Hortman Remembrance Day, where we remember where Melissa Hortman was assassinated by a radical Trump support. Like, if we
what the fuck is with? I'm sorry, what the fuck is with the fucking flashbangs, okay? Can't you have, like, less fucking flashbangs in your fucking final boss fight? Like, Jesus Christ! Sorry.
Try to match that energy. I wonder if Republicans would vote against it. My expectation is they would, including, like, the swing state Republicans. I don't think we'd get, fucking Don Bacon voting for it, out of Nebraska. And so that's why I'm curious, like, I wonder, has the shoe ever been on the other foot, and could the shoe ever be on the other foot? It just feels like one of those things where we constantly have to vote for these, like, really fucking annoying,
both parties do it, by the way. Both parties do it. They try to make
the
other
party.
I can't think of something off the top of my head. But Nancy Pelosi.
What the actual language was, because like it says here, like I get why you would vote for something like this, right? It says, praise Kirk as a courageous American patriot who boldly lived out his faith with conviction, courage, and compassion. Like, okay, yeah, that's probably why a lot of people voted no. But it also calls upon all Americans, regardless of race, party affiliation, or creed, to reject political violence, recommit to respectful debate, uphold American values, and respect one another as fellow Americans. So, like, given that language, I can see why a Democratic politician might say, "Oh, this would look bad if I vote against this." And even the ones that did vote against it. So, like, Mark VC said, I'm introducing an alternative measure that just condemns political violence. And then that garnered, 118 co-sponsors. So it's like, okay,
or even condemn it specifically against Kirk. Yeah, I'm
whereas
fine with
Charlie Kirk personified the values of the First Amendment, exercising his God-given right to speak freely, challenging prevailing narratives when he was the progenitor of government propaganda, and did so with honor, courage, and respect for his fellow Americans. Whereas Charlie Kirk was a fierce defender of the American founding and its timeless principles of life, liberty, limited government, individual responsibility. This motherfucker tried to overturn an election. And no, I would vote this down every single day of the week. You say it doesn't matter because what? Because people are going to be, this isn't going to matter to the fucking constituents. They're not going to fucking bring this up as like, oh, because you will have an explanation. And I think it speaks to the weakness of some of these Dems. They don't feel that they're able to be quick on their feet and have an explanation.
You're just horny to call Democrats weak.
No, I'm not at all.
Yes,
I am not horny to do that at all. No,
100%.
We see the microphone stand shaking.
That is not true at all. That is
not true at all. If you said it doesn't matter, then you kind of give the whole game away.
No,
it's more of a headache to just not.
No, I'm saying it's indicative of weakness. That it's indicative that it shows, right? Something in and of itself. Who the fuck cares about the resolution? I'm not going to be calling out the Democrats for this resolution in fucking 2 weeks, 3 weeks. But it's a sign. It's a sign that these people are not meeting the moment because they don't feel like they can stand on principle and actually be strong Democrats. This vote to me is meaningless in the long term, 100%. But it shows that these people, I think, are weak.
Go ahead, IRI.
Well, I was going to say, I think if you zoom out a bit, though, and you think about the public perception of Charlie Kirk, it's been sold as, here's a guy who's just going around the college campuses talking politics, and he got killed doing what we all want us to do, is talk and have debate. I understand that's not the story of what he was really doing, but I feel like that's how most people look at what Charlie Kirk was doing.
Yeah, it's interesting you say that because today was a relatively low output video day for me, and I was trying to see what was going on. Like yesterday, there was a shit ton of videos I did, and while I was waiting, I had a text message from a really good friend of mine. I'm the godfather to his daughter. That's how close we are. And I didn't realize, I should have expected, he had become a big fan of Charlie Kirk, I suppose, over the years, and even more so after Kirk was assassinated. And we've had some really productive conversations. He's a conservative, but he's a never Trump Republican. He's never voted for Trump. And the last conversation that we had, I told him my position. Like, listen, violence sucks. I felt bad for, Charlie Kirk's family, whatever. It was viscerally disgusting what happened. I'm not going to lionize him or pretend that I respected him or liked his views. I didn't, but that doesn't matter, blah, blah, blah. All the stuff we talked about. And during one of the conversations, he was like, so why didn't you given like free speech and debate and all this shit, like why weren't you a big fan of his? And I'm like, well, I never felt that he particularly lived up to the espoused principles. Like he co-signed or celebrated all of Trump's, censorious bullshit, the attacks on law firms, universities, etc. and so forth. He tried to overturn the election, like all these other things. And I said, like, even like a recent example with the Epstein files, which is he tried to pump the brakes on the Epstein files after spending the entire election saying that Biden could snap his fingers and release the files, and Trump makes a phone call to him and is like, hey, ease up. Anyway, long story short, so he sends me a message a couple of days later today. And very gently read me the riot act. He's like, there's more to the story here, and I'm disappointed. And we ended up having a 2-hour conversation about it, where it's like, Kirk I don't think lived up to his principles at all. And it is interesting, like the sort of revisionist history going around. This is a person who, you know, I don't associate Kirk with principle, and it seems like there's going to be a massive sanitation project for his reputation that I do imagine will be pretty successful.
You know what? No, I got to push back on that because, like, I was a little worried about that happening, but basically everyone on the left that I've seen on social media.
I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. Okay, I'll tell you why it is important. Why it's important to fight back against like the perception of Charlie Kirk, okay? Because number one, the truth is intrinsically good, okay? Like you have to believe in the fucking ideal that the truth is inherently good. If you don't believe the truth is inherently good, and you believe that downstream effects from truth are good, then I already disagree with that, okay? However, another thing is that it's not even that hard to argue. You can just say, well, you know, political violence is bad. However, at the same time, I think it's unhinged. I think it's unhinged how they're trying to rewrite history, right? Yeah, and the accurate version of history is important to me. And that should be truly what you actually believe in as well, right? Yeah, I don't know. That's just, you know.
And in the media have not sanitized.
Oh, no, not on the left. I'm sorry. I just meant like the broader public.
I mean like
Ezra
normies?
Klein, dude.
Yeah,
One of the biggest
yeah.
lived ever, dude. Ezra Klein's out there saying like, we need more Charlie Kirks. 10 million Charlie Kirks, sign me up. One more Charlie Kirk for me. I'm hungry for more Charlie Kirk. That's what he's saying.
His article was insane. I mean, there were some parts of it that I agreed with, like where basically he just says, Charlie Kirk, we don't have a reason to believe he committed a crime. Like we have no reason to believe that he committed like illegal violence. And I'm like, if that's the sense in which Charlie Kirk upheld the values of America, okay, I guess agreed. But that's not what people mean when they say he did it the right way. And
by the way, I just want to say that that shouldn't be the value that you ascribe to. I don't know whether or not Pisco is recounting Ezra Klein's like words correctly, but the fucking reality of the situation, right, is that you can cause violence with words. You can cause violence with the way that you present in front of the public. You can cause violence by doing something like that, right? You can be somebody who is encouraging or advocating for stochastic terrorism. You technically, all right, your speech is probably considered legal, right? Your speech is going to be considered legal, right? But the problem is that if it produces like a shooter or two, then we have a problem, right? It does like legality. Whoa, is that a weapon, a legendary weapon? Hold on. Then yeah, you need to be careful with that. Well, hold on, what is this?
later on in the video or in the actual article, he's extolling him. He's basically suggesting this person is like an ideal that we should live up to, and I just thought it was sickening to read.
What do you all think? Still want to milk the Charlie Kirk stuff, but the other thing that just popped into mind is, how about that TikTok thing, man? I'm worried about the media ecosystem. I'm not gonna lie. I know Kimmel's coming back, but I'm worried about TikTok. Like that, you have Larry Ellison's gonna be on the board there. Rupert and Lachlan Murdoch of Fox News. Like this shit's not good, guys. It's not good. It's not good at all.
Go for it.
As far as the Charlie Kirk thing, I mean, do you guys? What about the whole destiny part of this and what happened with him? Is that something you guys want to not talk about? It's fine if not.
Be specific. What do you mean?
Well, he's on primetime on Fox News being labeled as wishing the death of conservatives. I mean, he basically got launched into the stratosphere as public enemy #1 for the right. It's pretty fascinating.
Well, Soypill actually, yeah, go ahead.
Debate it. No, well, you go ahead, Hutch, but
I mean, is Destiny really still in the ecosphere right now? Like the thing is that like, are they gonna make more than one episode on Destiny? Because I don't know, you know. Yeah, I just do not know. I just don't know, you know, how many episodes they're going to be making on Destiny, or how many like coverages they're going to be making on Destiny. Like it feels like it feels like it's just going to be one episode, right? There's like you're going to have to sustain far more controversy in order to get that much more exposure. For the record, okay, exposure on primetime Fox is good. Okay, that's a good thing. Being controversial enough in order to end up there, yeah, that's huge. That's huge. It's just simply massive. Yeah, it is. However, at the same time, yeah. I had normally conservative friends confront me over him. Yeah, based. Hello? Based alert? Yeah, that's based. You want that kind of exposure. Even if it, like, pragmatically speaking, maybe you should just be saying edgy shit all day long, right? Because to me, at the very least, it brings nothing but good, right? Outside of, like, the potential, like, fucking YouTube demonetization. You're gonna have to measure the costs versus the benefits, okay? You're gonna have to make a fucking cost-benefit analysis, but yeah.
I just wanted to say that I thought that Soypill, in that encounter with him, it revealed a lot of what his thinking was, a lot of talking past each other. And I've had a lot of disagreements with Destiny in recent months, but I stand 100% behind, one, his right to say what he's going to say. A lot of members of our government and the richest man on the earth are saying that he should be imprisoned for what he's saying because of the fear of Republican things, which I have to say, a lot of it is taken out of context and it's not what he's suggesting. And I think what the Republicans are saying, Betty Johnson was saying that the evil people need to live in fear. They need to be terrified. And it's the exact same thing one-to-one because he was calling Democrats all evil in the aftermath of the shooting. So one, I want to condemn and stand with Destiny in the sense that he should...
Guys, quick show. Like the stream, donate if you're able, okay? You can donate via Super Chat, membership. You can donate via Kick. If you donate via Streamlabs, just know that your information on PayPal is not private, okay? If you do choose to donate via that avenue, all right? And liking the stream is free, okay? Just keep that part in mind. Please help out my channel. And apparently 60% of people who watch my channel, or 60% of the watch hours of my channel, are not subscribed. If you're not subscribed, subscribe right now. It would really help me out. Thank you.
Have his right respected, and two, I don't agree with this demonetization either. I think that people are way too quick to demonetize, and they're basically caving. I think Google is to pressure from outsiders on this rhetoric and not being consistent on it. So yeah, I think that by and large, I don't agree with this like don't condemn thing. You can condemn and also be strong, like Soypill and Hutch have talked about, and I totally agree with them on that. But in general, I think we should stand by people who are getting their rights attacked by the government.
We'll return to this in just a second, but somebody in chat pointed this out. Sinclair has issued a statement regarding Kimmel. Beginning Tuesday night, Sinclair will be preempting Jimmy Kimmel Live across our ABC affiliate stations and replacing it with news programming. Discussions with ABC are ongoing as we evaluate the show's potential return.
So he might not be back.
Wow. They're going to have outraged customers. They don't just represent conservatives. They're going to have a lot of liberals like, what the fuck, dude? Interesting.
Right.
No, those are local ABC affiliates. That's like people's local ABC channel. There's no way around that unless you go on the internet or something.
Whoa!
No, but Soypill, you had a chance to confront Destiny to his face. What was that like?
Yeah, I got a lot of flack from the DGG community because I did it in front of a MAGA crowd, and I even, it was funny. One of the reasons they were cheering me on is because they were heckling him the whole time, and I went up and I talked to them like a bunch of toddlers, and I was like, hey, like you get real quiet, and you're like, hey, I'm about to go up and ask a question. If you want me to say anything to him and you don't want to yell, you can say it to me. So they were ready for me to be MAGA and say some MAGA things, but it's true. I was in front of an audience who was, gonna be just mad at him no matter what. I just have an issue with like not the calling out the double standard, which I think is insane and completely correct. Not with him, trying to hold up a mirror to MAGA, but just the ultimate like end goal of, hey, like it takes nothing for you to just be like, yeah, I condemn violence, but this is obviously not our fault, and we should go after any and all political violence. It should be the all lives matter of like the the left right now. It's like, yeah, all violence is bad. Now, why the fuck is the president not condemning it? I just think that one extra step that he's not taking is dangerous insofar as it's letting the right wing hyper focus on that. The clips look awful out of context or even in context, and I'm honestly worried like some of the stuff I've seen from his community that's like, yeah, a lot of you guys are too smart to do anything stupid, but all it takes
you're
is
right about that. So, you're right about that, and I do want to say like,
what the fuck is he talking about? What is he talking about? You mean out of everybody from that event? Ooh, I see a legendary. But you're saying that from everybody from that event, you're most afraid of the DGG community and not the crazy MAGA crowd? Can somebody please help me smoke what Soypill is injecting into his veins? Like, what is he smoking right now? I'm so confused. How are you more afraid? Oh my, dude, this guy's a psyop. This guy's a psyop. This guy's an opportunist. This guy's a traitor. Fuck me, dude. Fuck me. I'm sorry. Hold on. McWillie, thank you so much for your tier 1. Thank you. I just want to say this real quick, okay? I will defend Not So Erudite, okay? Because Not So Erudite has been so fucking loyal to Steven like crazy, okay? However, this Soypill person came out of the woodworks only after the Destiny drama dropped, okay? I came out of the woodworks, understandably, because I saw somebody that needed defending, right? Even though I came around at the same time. But the thing is that I just don't see, I just don't understand. I just don't understand this person. I just don't understand, like the only consistency is like clout for this person, I think. Like unironically. Unironically, I think the only consistency is that Soypill likes clout. I just don't understand why he and Kyla felt the need to do that in the forum. Sure.
Obviously, I agree with you, and both Hutch, who's made this point forcefully, and this is always Hutch's refrain, which I oftentimes agree with, which is, what do we gain from XYZ? I think it's a good practical strategy, and I agree with him in this context, and with you, Soypill, but I think you did something I didn't agree with in that exchange. You, like, referred to his statements as incitement. And that's not incitement. What he said does not at all fit the bill for any kind of incitement. And I think that you're playing into the right-wing narrative, Soypill, when you like construe his statements
like
as
in the legal sense. This is my understanding of it. Tell me what I'm wrong about, right? Yeah. Like when he says, and again, he's clarified this, of course, but in these conversations and on Piers, when he says the right wing should be more afraid after refusing to condemn left-wing terrorism, it's like, wow, that really sounds like you're saying we should use left-wing terrorism to scare the right wing. That's what that sounds like.
Okay, that's what it sounds like to you. I don't. That to me isn't encouragement of violence. It's not saying, it's certainly not incitement. And when you use a term like incitement, that is unfortunately a legal term of consequence. Incitement is not protected by the First Amendment. So even if what you're saying is just the colloquial version of incitement, where it's just encouragement of violence, I don't think you should say incitement because people will take that as a legal term and it will play into the narrative of we should jail these fucking people. So I didn't agree with that. And I don't think he's actually encouraging violence there. I think he's saying that he's happy if it happens, or not directly saying he's happy if it's happened, but he's basically saying, that he doesn't feel bad if it occurs. And I don't agree with that. I think it's wrong. But yeah,
I just want to back up Pisco briefly and just say, I think what Destiny's saying, it's like you want people to drive a little scared. You know what I mean? It's not that it means something dangerous should happen, but it's like you want to be on, a little scared when you're driving because you want to be on the lookout for people doing bad stuff. So you got to chill a little bit. You can't just slam the horn at everybody. You can't cut people off, So I think that in my opinion, that's all he was saying is like people need to chill out and be a little more concerned about the outcome of their crazy words,
Yeah, all right, to be clear, I think he's clarified since then in a way that I'm like, I see that is what he means. But that is not like what I took away from our initial conversation, even a little past that on the Piers panel. And that's why I tried to clarify with it. And it seems to me that this message that he...
No, bro, you just seem like a fucking psyop. That's it. It's really as simple as that. Like from any perspective from the outside, like you just look like a psyop. It's really as simple as that. It really is. But
he's saying could be told in a lot less inflammatory, aggro-inducing way. That's all. That's all I kind of walked away with at the end.
I agree with you, but that's Destiny style. And also, I think it caused some people to go, well, what did Trump say? Did Trump not condemn it? Because I know a lot of people probably said, Destiny's just calling for violence, but I think it did cause some people to focus on Trump's bullshit too.
I mean, I have normies. You're muted, Josiah, just so you know.
Sorry.
That entire time.
Yeah. All I was going to say was the what's interesting is following that appearance by Destiny on Piers, like Waja Ali, who is he works with Mehdi Hassan. He's got his own show. I really like him. He kind of adopted a similar approach. He was basically live streaming or live tweeting to Charlie Kirk's memorial, and he wasn't insulting him. He was just like posting a bunch of quotes of Charlie Kirk, and Piers Morgan was pissed, and so was it was Eric Bolling and Carrie Lake, and it was Tim Miller and Waja Ali on the most recent episode of Piers Morgan about this, and Piers is just doubling down on this. Well, you don't need to set your store by what Trump does and all this other stuff. So I just think, they took a slightly different approach. Like obviously Waj didn't say anything quite as incendiary as what Destiny did, but he just kept doubling down. Like, listen, I'm not going to play this game where I'm held to a higher standard or even an equal standard to the president of the United States. And he was fairly belligerent for Waj, like the entire time. He was interrupting, he was quoting, he was like, here, I've got the quote again, I'll be happy to read it. It was very much a Destiny style, which I appreciated that. And I do think that even though I certainly wouldn't take the approach that Destiny took on that first episode of Piers, watching Waj, who's like really even-tempered, like start to lean in that direction, I think we're going to see more liberal commentators start to do that. I like you said the all lives matter approach. I really like that, this idea that, conservatives used to love to do that.
Roll credits.
When the shoe was on the other foot or the shoe was on the other shoe, which was on the other foot or whatever the fuck Anna Kasparian said. And I feel like that'd be a good way to make the point and also trigger them at the same time, because obviously they're not looking for condemnation of violence across the board. They want people to prostrate themselves and condemn Charlie Kirk's violence, or violence against Kirk specifically, which, by the way, I'm still happy to do. But I understand why.
That's where Hutch and Soypill are right. I just think it's both the truth to say we condemn the violence, and also I heard Destiny say it's bad and shouldn't happen. That's what a condemnation is. And so if this is just an obstinate refusal to say the word I condemn or disavow, I think that's stupid.
Which he did later on in that debate anyway. I mean, he said that with Piers or whatever.
I need more. Listen, I need more fucking. I need more Tylenol. Okay, Okay.
Where he's just like, no, to answer your question, of course, I don't think anybody should, suffer political violence in this country for expressing an opinion, but I'm just not going to be forced to. I'm not going to be forced to be the first one to initiate this sort of reconciliation when liberals, progressives, and Democrats have always taken the first step.
Bro, you're so gay for Destiny, might as well suck his dick. Bro, do you know who I am? Like, one of the first things I've said when people confronted me with that is that, yeah, I would suck his... Yes, I would. Every day, okay? Yes. All right, bye.
Time and time again. I think it's a fair point.
I have some DGG people that show up in my chat for the live streams, and I've been going back and forth with them for like a few days. And I think the thing that bothered me the most that I was getting from them is that they were treating a simple condemnation of violence as a transactional thing. Like, they were asking, like, what do we get for that? And that to me was like very deeply cynical. It just really got under my skin. And they were treating what they call like unilateral disarmament. So this idea that, Obama, for example, he condemned political violence. They were treating that like weakness. And I couldn't get them to see it in any other way. They were treating that like a concession. And I think in a moment like this, when something like that happens.
Yeah, it's a confession of guilt. When you disavow, like, okay, politics is a different game from private shit, okay? When you talk about things privately, when you talk about things privately, it's not the same as doing a public disavowal, right? If you do a public disavowal, what will happen is that the way that moderates, by the way, normies and moderates interpret it, is that in their mind, they view it as a confession of guilt, that the Democrats and the left have been ramping up the violence, and the ultimate result was the assassination of Charlie Kirk. You should condemn the assassination itself, obviously. But, however, if you're really concerned about the perception, just so you know, disavowals based off of the right-wing narrative is not the same as a disavowal with no narrative included, okay? The prosecutor has built a case, okay? The prosecutor has built a case. You need to be able to address the case, not the reality of the crime scene, but you need to counter specifically the prosecutor's case in court, okay? Just so you know, like, this is the equivalent of what I can think of here, right? If that makes sense. Yeah, but just so you know, like, literally everybody condemns violence. Like, Destiny has made it clear. Destiny said on day one that he wants the person who killed Charlie Kirk to be caught and hung. I think that's what Destiny said. Like, Destiny literally said that he wants the Charlie Kirk shooter to be dead. Like that's like how much more of a condemnation do you fucking want? Like, Jesus, like, that's the most hardcore condemnation you can ever have, right? I don't know. Like, I don't know what else he's supposed to say, but whatever.
It sort of does transcend partisan lines. Okay. And if you're like a fan of liberal democracy, you should just principally oppose political violence, no matter what you thought about Charlie Kirk.
Oh, what is this? What's going on?
There's a very thin line, Hutch. Would you disagree that it's like saying all political violence is bad, I condemn it, and oh, I'm so sorry, right wing, my rhetoric did this, and let me get on my knees and kiss your feet, because that's kind of how they're treating it. There's obviously two different ways, and I would say Pisco, I would agree. The bill, the resolution, being like, oh yes, Charlie Kirk was absolutely like the patriot that we all deserve to be. Right, that's a little more prostrating than just saying I condemn violence.
Well, that's how they were taking it. So like a simple condemnation of violence, they were sort of translating that to suggest that how people take it is an apology, and I don't think that's true. First of all, like, I don't think normies heard Obama condemn political violence and then took it as an apology
or something.
Now, obviously, like MAGA, they're going to try to coerce and manipulate and get people to do that sort of apologetic thing. You obviously shouldn't do that. But like the whole conversation I found just like so cynical, and it just got under my skin, to be honest.
Hutch, I agree with you, but then I have to ask Soy Pill a question and criticize him another time, which I hate because I love the Soy Pill. Why are you asking this fucking question? Like, why don't we move on? Yeah, we should condemn it, but like, why are you going and asking him and
what was really frustrating about
this
it
fucking
was
controversy?
Every single person in line, I wasn't even going to go up because I'm like, whatever, I already had this conversation with on stream. Every single time someone would bring it up, they're all MAGA, so we just kept deflecting and being like, well, Trump, which is valid, by the way, because it is a horrible, stupid fucking double standard that you're holding a streamer to the same standard as the president, and they don't give a shit about that. But it's like, okay, but I care about this. I'm not a MAGA person. You can't use that defense on me. Like, can you just answer this? Like, in our own community, why won't you just say it this way? It's not that hard. Well, like, what's your purpose? That was my purpose of going up there.
I just want to say, I know Hutch and Soy Pill have gotten a lot of heat from the Destiny community over their comments, but I know your guys' hearts are in the right place, and I know that you're bringing up these concerns because you feel that it's maybe causing some damage. I don't think you guys are like angry at Destiny or anything like that. But I want to ask you guys, Hutch and Soypill, do you think that Destiny is making your job harder? Because I don't think so. I think he's in his own world. He's fighting his way, and I don't think it affects anyone else's arguments or what you're fighting for. But I'm curious what you guys think.
Well, I mean, I can't speak for Soypo, but like it shows up in my channel. So like he's a really influential guy. Like he has like a very, very, very like one of the most dedicated followings of anybody that covers politics. He's not like literally the biggest political streamer, but his community is super in tune with what he says. And so from him, it bleeds out into other platforms, and you start seeing these arguments over and over and over again. And you know, I think, you know, I'm not mad at him, but I'm disappointed because I think he was very irresponsible, and I think it had a really negative influence on the people that look to him for guidance and an example.
Yeah, like
but
oh shit, there's a true final boss.
Well, I just want to say quickly that I think I try so hard to try to support what all my content creators do on the left. You know, even if I disagree, I try to find the silver lining. So do you not see anything positive coming out of this?
No, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, like, yeah, this is like ultimately like, why even be upset about this? Is it really a big deal? Because he's not the fucking president. This is a very minor thing. I really don't want to talk about it past today because it's like whatever, because it's not as big of a deal. But ultimately, based on what he's trying to do, I think more people are not going to be converted by looking at him and then thinking, oh, wait, but what did Trump say? Than people who would look at the 30-second clips, 60-second clips of the worst possible interpretation, which get blasted over the right-wing media. Like that's going to happen no matter what. What he's doing though is providing like the easiest like straw man version of that by saying the worst possible thing out of context.
I think Hutch has mental issues with rumination. Does he have OCD? OCD is like the rumination disease. I have OCD, okay? Just so you know. Yeah.
Or if it doesn't fully represent him, I think more people will be turned away from our movement based on those statements than will be turned away from Trump by him highlighting the double standard. That's the ultimate.
I don't necessarily even disagree with that. I think that it was stupid to do, and I think part of the stupidness is every time like redone when in my call-ins, half of them are people saying like, "What do you think about this discourse?" And like reopening the wound after this is like a done conversation. I think it's stupid. But what are you expecting, Soypill? You're not going to change his mind, right? He's going to say, "Actually, you're right. I should." Like, there's no world. Steven's already someone's not going to just like change his mind willy-nilly. And if he does, I think he's very oppositional in nature. What are you looking for to extract from him right there? Actually, I was wrong this entire time in front of a MAGA crowd. I just think it's going to happen. And so I don't know what your goal is in asking the question. Other than
saying, was to clarify like what he's actually trying to do, because he really did not make this clear. It's like, are you just trying to highlight the double standard? Is that really it? Because part of me and some of these people in these communities, they're like, oh, you're trying to get them to Fed post. It's like, whoa, are you saying that he actually does want more violence, but he just doesn't want to say it, and he's just kind of implying that it should happen? Like, I really just wanted that clarification. I was really tired of watching him dismiss people based on things that are valid because it is a double standard. But you can't have that with me because I'm gonna, you're preaching to the choir on any Trump thing that's bad. So ultimately, I'll say this: the fact that he's getting flack from Elon Musk, even maybe Donald Trump talking about streamers, the fact that he's getting demonetized is the more important thing here. That they're cracking down on these peoples and their free speech, and like regardless of any disagreements, regardless of anything that has happened with these people, like if this happened to Hassan too, we should be supporting them because it's fucking ridiculous that the administration is able to go after streamers like this. So this is like, again, hopefully the last time I really do talk about this because it's not nearly so important as the fact that our current admin says, hey, you say things I don't like, no more money for you. We're gonna take your job away. That's what deserves.
Yeah, I don't know if anybody has anything else to say on this, but if they do, just wrap it up real quick.
Okay, here's how I interpret what he just said. Okay, the way that I interpret what Soypill is saying here is I couldn't handle the heat from all the criticism I was getting. I couldn't handle the heat from the criticism I was getting. So now I want to say that this is in fact the last time I'm going to be talking about it. This is the way I kind of interpret it. But maybe somebody else can propose an alternate explanation for what he's saying right now, because it sounds like he got his moment. He's not really regretting it, and he's moving on because he couldn't handle the criticism, right? If that makes sense.
Because like as a counterpoint, like I just saw this on Fox in response to what Trump said about, hating his opponents. Does anyone have anything else they want to say before we...
The last thing I'll say is I totally ratify what Soypill says there. We need to focus, and that's why all my tweets have been defend Destiny's First Amendment rights, defend Hassan's First Amendment rights, defend Antifa's First Amendment rights, that the focus of liberal content creators should be on defending the rights of the people of the United States, including people who are a little unhinged.
Well, just to answer IRI's question, you asked if there was anything that I agreed with. I agree with like 99% of what he was saying after the shooting. I mean, he's correct to point out this absurd double standard. He's correct that that all too often Democrats are expected to be the adults in the room, and there's just no pressure put on Republicans. He's correct to focus on that after Charlie Kirk was shot and the rest of the discourse. It was just that one particular strategy. I wasn't anticipating talking about it anymore. You know, the only reason we're talking about it is because you brought it up. But I mean, to Pisco's point, like, should we not criticize prominent people in the space when they say something we disagree with?
I totally agree that we definitely should. In fact, I was criticizing Rob North for saying he wouldn't do that. My only question is, like,
I saw that video, or like half of that video. Yeah. That shit was crazy.
Wild. But like, my only thing is, like, how much are you going to emphasize it, and degrees of like what matters. So yeah, I agree. You should condemn violence for all the reasons that Hutch was saying, for all the reasons Soipo was saying. I'm sure IR agrees. I know Josiah agrees, and all that is like true, and we can say it, and like it can either be true. And if we're asked, like, listen, I already condemned that we didn't condemn or something, or I already said what I had to say about that. But my
Hutch agrees with 99%, but spends 2 hours on stream on the 1%. Sure, but lots of people are kind of like that, right? Like, the thing is that, like, I think that's a valid critique. But the thing is that I don't know. I feel like everybody in the space does something like that, to be fair. Okay, like, oh yeah, I fucking hate this person for disagreeing with me on the 1% or whatever the fuck, right? Like, you can argue Pisco kind of did the same as well. Like, Pisco did the same kind of, but yeah, I don't know.
Problem is these kind of ritual conversations when look at what's happening with MAGA, and that's kind of Destiny's point, which is the part of it that I agree with, which is, why are we spending as much inordinate amount of time as we do?
For the record, that 1% is actually really important. In fact, if anything, that I would argue that 1% is actually the entire point. The reason I would argue that 1% is the entire point is because how we deal with tragedies in this country, or how we deal with controversies in this country, totally, like, every single one of them hinges on that 1%. Like it isn't even 1% in my opinion. It's more like 50%. The reason I say 50% is because the way that you deal with double standards applies to every single fucking issue in this country. Period. Right? Every single issue in this country is applied through the lens of that double standards poisoning. So I would argue, yeah, the fucking thing, like, is so much more than something. Yeah. Fuck. Yeah.
Policing our own side.
You guys get my point.
When we should be, I think, spending much more of our time not having these ritual conversations and attacking the abuses of government coming from the administration.
So on that note, just as a juxtaposition, I want you all to consider this. We played earlier what Donald Trump said at Charlie Kirk's memorial. We played Carolyn Levitt's response to it when she was called out for it. Now remember, Fox News is not alternate media. They're not like, they're the outlier. They are mainstream media, by far the biggest and most successful players in mainstream media. And this is one of the highest rated, if not the highest rated show on Fox. And this is what Jesse Waters has to say about Donald Trump, saying he hates Democrats in this country and does not wish them well.
Whoa,
Donald Trump is just like the rest of us.
What does that mean?
After what they've done to him, after what they did to Charlie, he doesn't want to forgive. He actually does hate the people that hate him. And that's okay too. He's not perfect.
That's okay too.
He's an authentic guy. He's not going to pretend to be a fake Christian. And there's a part of the country that says we have to forgive these people, and there's another part of the country that says no. And that's where we are as a country. And
these people, can you pause? They're blaming Democrats for murdering Charlie Kirk. They're blaming me. They're blaming Josiah. They're blaming you in the audience, you Democrat. They're saying you killed him. That's the shit. That's, you know what that's called? That's called scapegoating. And that's maybe that's their theology, saying, Jesus died for your sins, Charlie Kirk died for everyone's sins, and they're doing collective guilt, and they're scapegoating the rest of the entire Democratic Party. And so when they try to tell you that this rhetoric about, Republicans in fear, that is something, no, they're trying to put us in fear with their rhetoric. You can see it in all the replies. You're scared. You're scared. You're scared. We know where you live. That kind of shit. It's everywhere. So yeah, I mean, this is just disgraceful from Fox. The collective guilt. This should be self-discredit. He should be fired for blaming all of Democrats for this.
Well, Pisco, this is the classic. Like, Trump says something fucked up, and you look at like the dialogue trees expand from the Republican Party. Like, which defense do we go with? Because half the people right now are saying, "Oh, he's just joking. He was, making a joke. Like, oh, I'm not like Erica. I'm more of a guy," which is already, even if that is what it was, terrible that the president is joking about hating the opposition, which is half the country. But the other half is, oh no, actually that's totally fine, because he just tells it like it is, and it's fine that he was totally being truthful and not joking at all. Meanwhile, they have the picture of Joe Biden in front of a flag, but the red is behind him, and he said, like, hey, there's a very unforgivable part of this country that tried to overturn the fucking election, and they're like, oh, he's the most divisive president in history. BLM riots.
Okay. Okay. Wait a minute. This is gonna trigger the fuck. I mean, it's gonna trigger the fuck out of me. All right. Kimmel returned. This is Piers Morgan's take. So Kimmel wasn't canceled by Trump or the FCC after all, but
Oh
temporarily
my God.
suspended by his employer
Yikes.
because they thought what he said was ill-timed. And see, assholes,
Yeah,
they
that's
didn't
it.
admit that the FCC was the reason why. So clearly the FCC wasn't the reason why. Eat shit, libtards.
Yep. This is a total internal discussion and problem that they dealt with at ABC. It had nothing to do with anything else.
Oh, I can't.
I just
He is
it's-
so fucking
the-
wild.
I've heard
The
some
Jesse
things
Waters
behind the scenes.
thing-
He's a full-on super left-wing progressive person, which makes it so much fucking worse. And he's like plays this moderate for fucking clicks. That pisses me off so much more.
Sorry, all right, go ahead.
The Jesse Waters thing, they just keep excusing this ridiculous behavior by Trump. It's not okay for the president of the United States to hate his fellow Americans. He's supposed to be everybody's president. It's like he's this guy who takes his dick out at meetings once in a while, and it's like, well, he just puts his dick on the table once in a while. What do you want to say?
Well, hey, Lyndon B. Johnson was a good president, IRA. It's not just like diss him, all right?
Are you expecting, Piers? Are you pregnant?
I mean, the president's obviously got a lot of really important roles that he's got to fill. He's got to, domestic and foreign policy. He's got to staff the agencies. He's got to enforce federal law. But like a profoundly
Where's my
important part of
legendaries?
being
Where
president
is my legendaries?
to be the
Where
united
are my
chief.
legendaries?
When stuff like this happens.
It's not
Hello?
acceptable to hate any of your fellow Americans as president.
So
Period.
for Jesse
That-
Waters to
thank
dismiss
you.
it like, well, he's
Thank
just
you.
being himself. It's
Thank
like, bro,
you.
that
Thank you.
alone right
This
there
is
just gives you a
fantastic.
glimpse into his psychology.
Wait,
You
what
can
is
tell
this?
just so easily that he's just not built for that kind of leadership. He's just not. He has no concept of putting his own petty squabbles aside.
Why
What
are
did
you
you do
pretending
just
not to
then?
understand? I'm sorry. He gets to me. He gets to me in ways that he is my Rob Noor. He gets to me like nobody does.
Would this be a bad time to bring up the fact that Jesse Waters let the air out of the tires of his intern so that he could force her to get a ride home with him so that he could date
What
her
the
after divorcing
fuck?
his wife? I don't
Yeah.
know if that's
And
Wow.
he's made jokes about it
That's
too.
Riz.
Movement
On
speed.
air. He's made jokes.
I want to become speed.
God.
These people are like fucking. I don't even know what to say.
Speed.
They're
Ghouls.
psychos, man. They're psychos. They're ghouls. They're warlocks. They're something. I don't know.
They're,
Jesus.
I don't know what the term is.
Did any
What?
of you ever watch 30 Rock?
No. Yes.
I don't.
Yes. I
no,
have.
I
You
didn't
know-
watch
I
it.
want to
Great show, though.
become.
It is.
Yeah.
It's a really good show, and I'm blanking on the guy's name. He was in Arrested Development, and he was like the Job. Who's Job's actor?
Will Arnett.
Will Arnett, thank you. So Will Arnett plays Alec Baldwin's nemesis in 30 Rock. He's like a recurring character, and he's a closeted homosexual. And so he's flirting with the page in 30 Rock, whose name escapes me, but he calls him, he goes, you
Kenneth?
Warlock. Kenneth, it's you, Warlock. So I think when you said Warlock, it's what it reminded me of. Anyway, yeah.
Also, that's not even the worst thing a Fox News host has said this week, because Kilmeade said we should forcefully inject homeless people and kill them. Like,
Do you know one of these things I kept seeing was they called him, instead of Brian Kilmeade, it was Brian Kill the Homeless. Did you like that's the
That was an insane comment by him.
I
Yes.
can't, this.
and what did he say?
Wait, is there any more? Or is this it?
The Instagram and TikTok are growing, and I'm trying to.
Okay, cool. Awesome. Sorry. That was good. I mean, it's not good. It's not good that Hutch is hanging on to this. It's good content, though.